What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Big Daddy Gaming. Tonight we're going to be recording the next chapter of Buried. I've really enjoyed this game. I love the first chapter. It's interesting. And I know that I kind of read a little bit slow. I apologize. I just want to make sure that you guys can understand what I'm saying. So, with the explanation being in the first video, if you haven't watched that, I would recommend going back and watching that so you know what's exactly going on in my playthrough of it. Let's dive right into chapter 2 and get back going, huh? It'll be a nice relaxing day, huh? Be fucking great. Ooh, tunnel. I like tunnel. What's going on with a tunnel? We're standing on the thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used, but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they are running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless, almost dizzying. But there's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's carved surface. Another platform, maybe? This is the decision between letting Dennis be in control or letting me in control. As much as I like Dennis, I'm gonna be in control. Dennis doesn't answer. The reality of what we are seeing is sinking in. Whatever this place is, it is buried, way underground. That seems impossible to me, making anything that's on the other side of this tunnel dangerous as far as I'm concerned. But of course we are going to go on. Human curiosity is going to see to that. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like a faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here, and I should probably make him feel confident in that. Yeah, we'll be fine. Whatever. We'll survive. I'm just gonna reassure Dennis, fuck it. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we get caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'll slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can either go left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy because I got the sense that one wrong turn in a place like this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly I jerk my head to the right as I hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear something? I ask Dennis, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe. It kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights, indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right is just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Okay. Oh boy, the way I see this, we can either go safe to the left, or we can just go balls into the hell that we're about to enter on the right. I like the right. I want to find out who the fuck is walking around in there, if it's a ghost or a person or whatever the fuck. And I don't necessarily trust machinery if this is some Y2K kind of bullshit. Screw that. You decided to go into the darkness, always. If there's anyone here, they're worth speaking to. Right it is. Let's continue. Oh, changing scenes, are we? Hey, it's supposed to be dark. Why are there lights on the side? You lied to me. As we leave the glow of electric lights, things instantly start to feel a bit more sinister. I look at Dennis's injuries again. The gash along his side is inflamed now. And while the bleeding seems to have stopped, the amount that has soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep, dark tunnel that has no business being here. He's right. The darkness we find ourselves in feels thick, like walking in syrup. I am reminded that the fear I felt as a child when I had to go into the basement to fetch tools for my dad. I was sure there were snakes or spiders or monsters of unimaginable horror lurking down there. I feel that same way here, walking through the tunnel. That's when I see a human figure, far in the back of the tunnel, silhouetted in the faint light at the end. He's standing on some other platform up ahead and likely can't see us. It looks like he might be holding a gun, but it's too dark to be sure. Oh boy. Yeah, get myself shot by clicking, hey, who's there, or stay quiet. I'm gonna stay quiet because I'm not fucking stupid. This person might be dangerous. Dennis, I whisper, don't move. Be quiet. We both watch as the figure looks back and forth down the tunnel. It's unclear if he's looking for something, or if he is just as lost as we are. But he can't see us in the dark, and after a moment the figure rushes away through a door. Why didn't you say anything? Dennis asks with a disgusted tone. Maybe we could have gotten some answers. I don't want to reveal ourselves to anyone who looks like they might have a gun until I know more about where we are, I reply. Yeah, that's smart. Why would you just shout, hey, we're here, in a tunnel with a guy that's holding a fucking gun? What kind of stupidity is that? If you have a call sign and you know you have other people, then that's mildly understandable if you shout the call sign and have cover in case it's not who you think, but otherwise it's a bad idea. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused a power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to the large open area ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We've stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the forests of Kentucky. It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear as to what the hell we have walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up onto the platform. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up to the small utility ladder that is bolted into the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. You know what? Dennis says, exasperated. This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of wherever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. It's okay. Take it easy. You can do this. That's a good idea. Just keep reassuring him. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. Damn, boss. I'm sorry, he says. It's okay, I say. I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest. Stubbornness, he says with a weak laugh. You need a minute to rest? I ask as warmly as I can muster. No. If I sit down to rest, I'm afraid it might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go. I reach down, help him onto his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize these red emergency lights have been on for someone else who is actually supposed to be here. Oh, might be on. Okay. Like that guy I saw earlier standing on the platform. Let's stay quiet. I don't feel like screaming out. I'm still not sure if I want to alert anyone to the fact that there are strangers in this secret place. And the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be a secret, and if it is supposed to be a secret, then there was a power outage recently. Maybe most everyone has been evacuated. But then, why was that one person still here? This thought does nothing to make me feel any better as we walk towards the platform exit. We We step inside, and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by more overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway that looks surreal for a moment. Alright. Going right through this, boy. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area I've seen since coming to in the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, if only to confirm my own thought. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since I found the little building in the woods. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clicking noise, and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Oh no! Why the hell does my taskbar keep popping up? That is stupid. Stop that. I might honestly edit that out. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise had stopped. So it had been an alarm. But for what? Just a power failure? We head down the hallway, the electric hum of lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, the place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. One door opens into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and papers strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall in defeat and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark, brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down to the floor. I'm just gonna sit here for a while. You look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the other side of the road. Fuck. Where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? Well, the conference room is more than likely just intellectuals and shit, whereas the lab might have some cool experiments that I can look at. I'm going to check out the lab, because why the fuck not? Because America, I do what I want. Oh, that's a surprisingly small-looking lab. Not what I expected. Walking inside, I see small vials and glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I'm dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes in glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have a clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. I'm a logger, so I won't understand jack shit about what these test tubes mean. But the laptop, I'm pretty sure, being an adult, I know how to work a laptop, so I can try and figure that out. I hit the enter key and a plain gray background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on the folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names I mostly don't understand. Told you, motherfucker. But there are some things that are easy to understand. Things that make my blood go cold. Subject number 6, cause of death. Embolism or aneurysm, or both? ? Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical liquid? ? Induced comatose state first. Terracore Co. Possible plutonium supplier. I'm gonna look at the test tubes real quick, see if there's anything about those. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. Umbrella core. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting at the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid, only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. At first it looks like it's expanding and contracting like a blowfish, then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely, As I look closer, it springs back into existence, and in a completely different test tube, and I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. That's weird. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air, and it makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside in the hallway, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor, but I don't get very far, because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner with an automatic rifle in his hand. Alright, well, fuck. That's all I have to say anymore, just fuck. Oh, even the music not bad, what? It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy, dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I'd trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. Dennis jumps up and stands next to me like he's ready to run for it. I recognize him by his height and build. He's the person I could barely see back in that dark tunnel. Fuck. I'm putting my hands up. I'm not gonna risk it. I'm gonna play some Army of Two feign surrender shit. I put my hands in the air, surprised at how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you, and how did you get here? The man asks harshly. Before we can answer, he continues speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have had to sneak by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I asked, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asked. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He's scared, but there's something else. We're just loggers, gotta be honest with him. He has a fucking gun. His eyes look distant for a minute, and then he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asks, thrusting the gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation, I think to myself. If only I had left that damn ringing noise alone, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to give this guy information yet. We don't know anything about him. Then again, he might have answers. No, just us, or we're looking for our crew. If we say we're looking for our crew, he's going to think that we have other people with us and that we're not just loggers. If we say it's just us, then he might believe us a little bit more. I'm going to go with no, just us. The man looks me up and down, trying to tell if I'm lying. What happened before you came here? He asks. No clue, I say. I open my eyes on the ground and don't remember anything. The last thing I could remember was fueling up my power saw, and then I was on my ass. We could hear the alarm from where we were. And there was a flash of white light, Dennis adds, like a bubble coming up out of the ground. But how did you get in here? The man asks. I pointed down the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. Please put the gun down. I'm not gonna try and grab the fucker's gun. I'm a logger. I don't think I have any training with disarming people. So, please put the gun down. Just please. I just want to be calm here. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. Fuck you, asshole. With that, he uses the muzzle of the gun to flip my hard hat onto the floor. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control now. Fuck, I should have grabbed the gun. He then levels the rifle at Dennis. I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. Fuck. Nope, You're not shooting Dennis. I will skull fuck you before you shoot Dennis. I will finger your eyes out of your fucking skull. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, and I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now that the power is on, I think you might be too late anyways. For what? I ask, but he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backwards with the end of his rifle. The man repeats a question he asked before, one that makes no sense and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not quite sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Yeah, I'm the president. I could be a sarcastic asshole. Not like this guy would fucking know anyways. No, what the hell are you talking about? Let's be honest here. As much as I want to be a sarcastic dickbag, I'd rather not. No, I say. We're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says. But I see a flicker of recognition in his face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it has an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantee that he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. And then, in a movement so fast that I just about miss it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his arm coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there is a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I have not been shot. I look at the floor and see where the shot misses my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment, as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall I could use as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. You know what? Fuck you, guy. You put a gun on my chest to push me back. I'm socking you right in the fucking mouth. Dennis has the man pinned on the floor, but isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, a reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard and his grip on the rifle loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker is immobilized, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he is basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. If I keep punching him, this might end really badly, and he might try to shoot me later. If I just take the one punch to his fucking mouth, that's what he fucking deserves. He didn't actually shoot me, and it's not his fault that he pulled the trigger. Dennis is the one that slammed the fucking barrel and caused him to react, so I'm just gonna stand up and walk the fuck away instead of, like, destroying his face with my fists. He's definitely out now. No threat. Or at least that's what I think, but he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelid swells to the size of a grape almost immediately. Fucking hard hat, goddamn. It seems like this last attack is more to spite me than to defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches into the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I say, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. You would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. I walk over and pick my hard hat up off the floor. After placing it on my head, I turn towards the man. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time, I won't just hit you, I say, plunging the rifle towards him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. Okay, let's move, I say, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding doors, larger than a normal elevator. Okay. Alright. Let me just take in the situation real quick. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name? I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any idea where they might be? I ask. No, he says shortly. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might I find one? Down on the second floor, he says. But we can't go down there. What's on level? I want to find out as much as I can about the situation. He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you, just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a friggin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wondered for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Yeah, true. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. It makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be linked to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor, but I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask sympathetically, or ask for sympathy, I bet. My mind likes to put words where they aren't. I could either be a dick, or I could keep being nice. Tact. I'm gonna use tact as often as I fucking can. I'm gonna ask politely. Hey, a smile and a gun gets you farther than just a smile or just a gun, right? Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numerical code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the steel doors. After a few seconds of angry glances and frightened sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. Oh, it's so majestic. It's all chrome and pretty. I like it. I want to burn it. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel by the door with the options for three sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we get a first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here? I ask. We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power came back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. Can't you override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out. We're stuck here. Dennis leans into the corner and almost falls onto the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much in his face. Slowly we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motors fill the space. So I can either be a dick, or I can ask calmly and concisely for more information. I am going to be calm. So are we stuck here forever? Marcus scowls at me. I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes, and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground helping idiots who don't even trust me with keys. Alright, this. Okay, so how big is it? What goes on? I would rather know what happens here than how big is it. Just the fact that it's a massive underground facility with its own transportational hub lets me know it's fucking huge, so I may as well ask the good question of what goes on, what the fuck happens. Marcus shakes his head. You may as well shoot me, I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I ask, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. What's your job? I'm going to stop trying. I'm not going to ask how big the place is. What do you do? What do you do? I handle the IT work and make sure that the databases are up and running. It's a 24/7 job. I haven't seen the sunlight in almost a year. I wonder what staying in a place like this for that long would do to someone's mind. I was recruited, he continues, because of the workload and no one else wants this job. But I don't really mind being by myself. No family. Plus the IT, it's some crazy shit. Crazy how? I ask. This place generates over 100 terabytes of data per day, he answers, getting the slightest bit excited before his face falls again. What happened? What knocked the lights out? He doesn't know what the fuck happened here, obviously, so I'm just gonna go there. Seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There's an outage, and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how? I ask. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I ask, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for that little bit of time made no sense. It made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place? Marcus gives me a grin that looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place. Just in case, you know? Just in case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the doors slide open. Marcus is out right away without a word. Dick? He makes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that is filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my head. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns in emergency vaults in every single room? Alright, I apologize for the coughing. That's going to be the end of this video. Let's end chapter 2. I really enjoy reading these for you guys. I think it's really fun, and it gives me a little bit of a moment to relax, especially because I got home at about 9 o'clock tonight. Curiosity. You and 42% of players stayed quiet when you saw Marcus in the tunnel. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. Huh. That's actually really cool. I'm surprised. I thought there'd be a lot more people that would be selfless, and a lot less people that would be merciful, considering everybody hates everybody apparently now in the United States. If I don't know. I'm not going to get into all the political bullshit about that. I want to try to keep politics off my channel as much as possible. Alright, well, that's going to be the end of this episode for Buried. If you enjoyed this video, smash the shit out of that like button like I punched Marcus in the face once. If you enjoy the channel, please subscribe, share videos with your friends, check out our Twitter and our Facebook pages. I update my Twitter more than my Facebook. I don't really have time for either, but I at least post on my Twitter whenever I'm going to put a video out. Every now and again I'll ask you guys a question, I'll try talking to you guys, I'll try to stir up a little bit of conversation, shit like that. Other than that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.